last few months, the Miami Urban Future Initiative, in partnership with FIU CARTA, as well as the Creative Class Group, generously funded by Knight Foundation, has released 5 reports on the future of Miami's economy. Today, we are gathered at the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce Impact Summit to hear from Dr. Richard Florida on the trends shaping our region.
From an economy that used to be based on physical assets, whether that's agriculture or industry, to an economy that's not driven principally by information or technology. Those are things we create, but is driven by the real thing that differentiates human beings from other species. It is driven by our knowledge, our intelligence, and the word we use for it is our creativity. An economy that produces about $350 billion in economic output every year. That's an economy, the greater Miami economy, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, the metropolitan area, is about as big an economy as Hong Kong or Singapore. We have a global creative class in our region. You know that of the 1 million members of the creative class that live in the greater Miami metro, about 1/3 of our population, clustered in our downtown area, clustered in parts of the beach, and housed in many of the upscale suburbs along our coastline. More than 40% of that creative class is foreign-born. One of the 6 or 8 largest metropolitan areas in the United States. 5 or 6 million people. The world isn't defined in the future by 200 nation-states. It's defined by 40 megaregions. Those 40 megaregions, of which we're one of the largest, are home to 18% of the world's population. They produce 2/3 of all our economic output and over 95% of our innovations. They are the future, and it's really important that as we think about our work as a chamber and as a region, that we leverage that. The year 1900, more than half of Americans worked on farms. Less than 5% of us were members of what I call the creative class. Thinkers, doers, knowledge workers, professionals, managers, technologists, innovators, entrepreneurs, artists, musicians, designers. By the year 1950, we had undergone an industrial revolution. Now 50% of Americans worked in factories. Miami is now, today 1/3 of us are members of this creative class, 40 million strong. And when we looked in our research at the Miami Urban Future Initiative, supported by Knight, housed at FIU CARTA, we were able to do a deep dive into the Miami region's creative economy. And ours looks different. Ours is unique. Ours is really driven by a cluster of arts, design, culture, media, and entertainment, and support services related to hospitality, real estate, and medicine. We have a uniquely composed creative class, which has one other extremely unique characteristic. It's incredibly international. Looking forward, we have to build not only a great competitive region with a great business climate, we have to build an inclusive region. One that is inclusive across all dimensions of innovation, entrepreneurship, creativity, that builds strong neighborhoods and communities, and that gives people in those communities, across races, genders, sexual orientations, ages, the ability to control and thrive and build their own shared destinies.